From our last meeting, we talked about that moment here.
Hello, everyone.
The signer should start there. Sorry about that. All right. And then we'll get started in just a minute. All right, thank you everyone for coming tonight. We got our minutes. Here we go. This is our December meeting, the last one of this calendar year. Woohoo! Our agenda tonight, we got our welcome and our 1-minute updates. We're going to talk a little bit about this weekend's event, the Santa's workshop event. We're going to talk about the book fair, a couple other things as well. So we're going to try to keep it short and keep it moving, but you know how things go with us. So we're going to bring this meeting to order. We showed the minutes from our last meeting. We'd like to then go on to the treasurer's report after we talk about the minutes from the last meeting, 1-minute updates, which are just our quick updates, and then our deep dive topics. We've got a few of them for tonight. So we had our minutes up there. So does anybody want to make a motion to approve or amend these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Anyone second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Nope.
Seeing none, all right, great, approved. We can move on to the rest of the night. So we'll go right into our treasurer's report, which is,
All right, so our starting balance is $13,061.48. Our ending balance is very close to that at $13,122.98. Income for the month was $5,984.09. Expenses were $5,922.59. Those numbers seem kind of crazy, so I broke down some of those. Our income, we had $523 come in as grants and donations. Petty Strong Fund has brought in $1,494, and you can see we're at the Petty Cash Raffle and bowling event as well. Expenses are also there with $212 in teacher grants, $1,064 in expenses for Petty Strong, that's the shirts and the wristbands, and then $270 that we spent on the staff dinner during conferences.
yeah, and some of these numbers have changed even since we did this a couple days ago, because we have the cash raffle going on and the bowling event and some other things as well. But this was a good picture, point in time, I think, as of the first of the month about. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Petty Strong as we get on, because I know that's a new program that some of you guys may not be aware of. So thank you, Melissa, for that. And we got breakdowns on some of the other things as well. Moving on. Banners, I'm delivering those today, so we have those. Those were left over from the homecoming parade. I kind of left a slide in here just to remind me to actually bring the banners. I'll be honest. So those are there. I know, right?
This is November.
Okay, well, it says November, but I just didn't take
Oh,
that slide
okay.
out, I guess. And I think I left this slide in here also to say, are we going to do anything after the first of the year with box tops and submissions? We talked, I think, last time about maybe doing some kind of classroom drives, and just as a reminder to do that. I know we've got a lot on our plates right now, so it's not the top priority, but box tops are still out there. If you're out there and you've got box tops, please still turn them in, and we'll do something after the first of the year to kind of help keep that going. So, all right, Spiritware. So in the midst of the book fair, our Spiritware store closed, and we had a few calls for people saying, hey, I didn't know it was going to close. So we opened it back up. We opened it back up for about a weekend, about 4 or 5 more days.
No, it was like 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in total, between our original time and the time that we were closed, we had 52 orders, and we brought in $524 of profit total. Not quite as high of a profit total as our fall one, if you didn't count what we had to pay for in the water bottles. But again, this, we just had one 2 or 3 months ago. Plus we were doing the Petty Strong and other things like that out there again. I know that there are still some people that said, hey, Can I still get an order in? Nah, it's too late at this point in time. So this is our last one for the year. We talked about doing another one in March. I guess if there's a high enough demand, we could do one earlier and do one maybe like in February or something if we wanted to do the Spirit Wear store again. But we'll talk about that and go from there. Anybody that ordered though from the Spirit store, especially in that first wave, if you placed your orders before November 22nd, we are expecting to pick up the orders this week, so probably on Friday, and have them available for pickup at the Santa's Workshop event. So if you ordered something, you wanted to make it a surprise for someone, then you should be able to pick it up at the Santa's Workshop event instead of it being sent home with your child. If you don't pick it up at the Santa's Workshop event and you don't make contact with us, we will just send it home, you know, as it goes on. So if for some reason you made a Spirit Wear order and you don't want it going home with your kids, contact us. That's the best thing I can say on that one. Anything that was done in that period between the 22nd and the 25th may not be available this weekend at that Santa store. So I'll let you know. We're hoping that it might be, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm still waiting to hear back when the orders will be ready, but I have not heard that that was not going to be the case. So we should be on track with that. All right, music concert raffles. So we did our 5th grade music concert raffle back on November 14th. And that was pretty great. We actually raised $98 on that one. And that's what we took home after the winner took home that. So that was pretty great. We've got the 4th grade one coming up, and we'll have a music concert raffle, assuming we get a volunteer to do the raffle tickets. So right now there are no volunteers to do it. So we'll see what happens. If there are no volunteers, we're not going to do it. So it's that simple. So if you can volunteer, you can sign up online. If you go to our volunteers page, you can see, click that little icon up there in the corner, and that'll take you to the sign up page, and you can sign up for any of these ones that are up here. 4th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 1st grade, whatever it is. It's really not that much time. It's from about 6:30 until about 7:15 or so. I mean, it's less than an hour's worth of time to go ahead and do that. So if you're looking to get some volunteer time in, that's a great way to do it. So that's the music concert raffles. All right, holiday shopping, it's that time of year. Just remember that we have Amazon Smile, so if you're doing any purchases on Amazon, please use, go to smile.amazon.com, make sure you select Petty Bobcat Boosters Inc., and a portion of Amazon's basically going to give a portion, I think it's 0.5% of whatever you spend back to us. So just a nice way for us to get some money. Also, we have the Script gift cards program, and I think this weekend they've got a special deal where they're not charging any fees for credit card, transactions or whatever. So if you're ordering gift cards, there's not a fee for the credit card stuff. And we can get those in time for the holidays too. So if you place an order, we'll be watching out for those and getting those as fast as we can back here. So just some things to think about if you're doing holiday shopping and ways to give back to the school community. Bowling event, we've got that coming up here. We've got it booked for Monday, December 30th from 1 to 3. We are renting the whole facility, so we will have it entirely to ourselves. The cost for the event is $10 per bowler, which includes 2 games, which is about 2 hours worth of bowling, and shoes. Plus we'll do a raffle ticket, and we're gonna have some prizes for that lined up. Pre-sale is now open. You can get them on our website. Probably is the better way to do it instead of typing this big long thing, but we've got that online right now. That is the way to do it. The plan is that all orders should be going through this and everything should be pre-sold. We are not planning on taking entry at the door for this event unless something changes. But right now it's there. It's only limited. I think we can only have like 150 or 160 bowlers total. So if you're thinking about going, I would pre-book, because if you try to show up at the door, it might be sold out. So, all right, grants. So we've had a few grants come in this year, and these are different grants than, instead of grants requests, these are actually grants received. We had an Amazon Smile grant for $23.30. That's our 0.05% coming back to us strong. $23 we didn't have, exactly. We didn't have to work for it. So that's a little bit of nice something out there. And we actually got a grant from Baxter's Dollars for Doers program for $500. So thank you to Catherine Swanson for doing that and logging her time that she volunteers here with Baxter and getting that. Do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, I
process
talked about
there?
it a little bit before, but basically I keep track of any hours that I spend volunteering at the school. And what Baxter does is they give basically $10 per hour for hours worked for volunteerism. So I had to register our Bobcat booster group with them and go through a process. It was quite a process.
I think the registration process was the hardest part.
Yeah. So
Now that we're set up, I think it should be easier.
it should be easier. Yeah. I actually did this last year and it never came through. It was for much less money, but this year it went through and we got it. So
Is there a cap on that?
it's $500.
Okay.
Yeah. So 50 hours is the cap. I reached that
Per person.
really quickly. So then I submitted it because they accept for like so like for 2019, I think their cutoff is February, but then they get really busy then. So I just wanted to get it in there. Yeah. So that it was easy money. And yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, so if anybody out there works at Baxter, we're already set up there, this would be a great way to get some credit for some of the time that you're volunteering at the school. Also, I'm very sure that if Baxter does something like this, I'm sure
Yeah.
Abbott or a lot of the
Yeah.
other larger companies in Lake County do this kind of similar programs. So look into it if you guys have something like that. And it's just another way to give back to the community, even for the time that you're already volunteering and you're helping out around here. So
Yep.
thank you for that. That's, a nice chunk of change that we can use for the different programs at the school. So thanks for looking into that and doing that.
No problem.
All right, now we're talking grant requests. This is stuff where people have come to us and asking for money. We've received a few this month. One is from Dr. Walshire, who is doing a classroom book project. I guess they're kind of making their own book. And I think she does this every year with her students, where they kind of make a book, I think that's about everybody in the classroom. And then they're given the chance this year, I guess, to order a copy of the book to have it. And it's kind of like all about their classmates and whatever. Every kid has their own page, I think. I could be wrong on this, but I think that's how they do it, or they have in the past. She also wanted to get a copy of this book for the classroom that could be checked out by anyone that can't afford to buy the book and could just get one. So she's asking for about $25 to get the book. I basically said, yeah, done deal. $25. I think we can swing that. So does anybody opposed to that? All right, I'm not seeing anybody. Great. These all came in at the last time. All right, our next request was Amy Turner has asked for 2 keyboards to use with the iPads. I guess in her classroom, she's finding that kids are doing a really nice job with typing, but it helps them to have an actual keyboard. So she's asking for 2 different keyboards for her classroom to use. They're ones that actually plug in. They're not like Bluetooth keyboards or whatever. That she can use with her students, that they can kind of swap around and use to help them type even better than just typing away on the keyboard itself. The cost for that is about $70 plus tax. Anyone opposed to that grant? All right, seeing none, we'll consider that one approved. All right, then going on, we got a grant request last night, and this is from the entire 3rd grade team, so it's 3 teachers. It's Mrs. Earl, Mrs. Hope, and Ms. Stefani. So the grant they're asking for is $500, which will help offset the cost of a new Chicago field trip. So in the past, and my son was in 3rd grade last year, they took a bus down, they went to the Chicago
History Museum.
And spent some time there, saw a little video for a little bit, and then that was pretty much the Chicago field trip. This year they wanted to do something a little different, and what they were looking at was a private 2-hour tour. So they rent out the double-decker trolley buses, and they take them around the city of Chicago on like a architecture / landmark tour, and takes them around to the different things. The problem with that is it's more expensive than it has been in the past. And so what they're asking for is $500 to help bring that cost per student back down to $8 per student, which is they feel is a manageable cost. I think that's what the last field trip was about $8 per student. So they're asking for that $500 to do that. Any questions or concerns on that? Okay. We're gonna take a vote on that by the group that's here. All in favor? All right. Looks like it's unanimous. All right, we'll go ahead and approve that. I'll talk to them about how to do that. We'll get them the check and then they can just go from there. All right, finally, this is one that we've talked about, I think, the last 2 meetings, and Mrs. Halterman had asked for about $3,000, maybe $3,500 for an author visit from Aaron Reynolds. So after our last meeting, we talked about putting a poll on Facebook because there was debate whether should the boosters be paying for an educational one or should it be more spirit/fun, a stress relieving type of fun thing like we did last year with the game show gurus people or something to that extent, which we were kind of planning on doing anyways. Well, 94% of people were in favor of fun interactive. So I think I put up like 5 different categories of different different assemblies. And 94% of the people that responded said fun interactive. The other 6% of the voters said the author visit, and that's it. So considering that, it sounds like the boosters don't want to give $3,000 to this, but what I was thinking about doing is saying, should we as the boosters consider donating $500 to the school to put towards an assembly of their choice? If they want it to be an author visit, great. If they want to do something else, they could do that as well. It's just another option to help raise funds for something like this without saying, hey, we'll foot the whole $3,000 portion of it. It's just an option out there. And I open that up for discussion if anybody has thoughts, questions, concerns on that. That was just a solution I had in saying, can move past this then at that point. So, any thoughts?
Maybe it's something they could bring up at a staff meeting to see if they have any ideas for something that they would want at one of their assemblies or PBIS assemblies.
Well, exactly, and the thought was if we give $500, then they could take money maybe from PBIS, they could take maybe some title funds that they have, wherever they want to do, they can take it all, put it together in a pot and say, hey, this is the assembly we want. We can save it for this assembly or whatever it is, but if we say, here's what we're willing to give you for an assembly.
So I'm pretty sure Joanna had said the last time that they were already having a author visit.
And that was something that we heard, is that they were already planning an author visit in coordination with a spring book fair, but don't know when that's going to be or whatever. I don't think it's Aaron Reynolds.
No.
But.
So is this an addition to it? Because I feel like then it's overkill.
Redundant.
Yeah.
Could be.
And too, can't we almost say like, we'll give you 500, but not so much hand them the 500, wait for them to give us.
Say this is when it's going to be, and we can give them the
like,
$500 when they're ready. We'll say, hey,
mean?
we'll allocate up to this if you guys are willing to do
Exactly.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah, we can do it
That's
that
kind of
way.
where I'm feeling like I'd rather not just throw them 500 and let them
Sure.
freelance. Not that I don't think they're going to do anything,
Yeah.
but I feel like I would like to know what they're going to actually do with it before we
Sure.
front the money.
Yeah.
That's a good solution.
And Melissa Waters just chimed in. She said, I would like to see possibly where we are on teacher grant so far in comparison to our budget to see if that 500 would be a reasonable amount.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so that being said, based off of that feedback, saying, hey, if the funds are still there in the teacher grants area and we're looking good and whatever it is, we would say, hey, if you guys want to have an assembly, we're willing to pony up to $500 based off of whatever the plan is. Just come back to us with it at that point in time when you have it. Does that kind of sound what everybody's agreeing to? All right, that sounds good. All right, we'll move on that. I'm gonna kind of consider this done pending. I'll talk with Melissa after this, and she can kind of look and see where we're at with what we set aside for the teacher's grant portion.
Because we already set aside some money for an assembly.
We
correct?
did set aside
Okay.
money for now. As far as I'm concerned, this would be in addition to the assembly that we had talked about over the summer when
Right.
we made our annual plan. I would assume that we're still going to do an assembly that is that kind of spirit, fun, break from testing, whatever it is, type assembly. So that's my take on it. But if people want to say something different, we could say something different and go from there. So, but okay, I think we'll just go on that. So we'll consider this one done, and then pending what Melissa says with that when she does the cost analysis on that, we'll move on that. All right. So that's grant request. Any last questions, comments on this before I move on? Okay, great. All right, Spirit of the Bobcat. So we're at that time. For if you don't know, this is for teachers and staff at Penny. We've got Mrs. Jasinski up there in the corner, who was our last month's recipient of the award. Coming up here, we've got a raffle on December 8th at 8 p.m. We're going to do it on Facebook Live. So everybody that had won
18th.
or earns an entry, but even if you don't win, you can earn entries into this raffle. And what we're going to do is we're going to give a $50 gift card away in this raffle to a teacher or a staff member for their work helping support us, whether it's volunteering or attending meetings, the Facebook Live stuff, membership on our different areas, sharing out through newsletters and dojos and emails, helping us spread the word about the things that we're doing. It goes from that. So let's go ahead and take a look and see who placed this month. So in 5th place, we had a three-place tie, actually, well, 3-person tie. Mrs. Hope, Mrs. Fisher, and Mrs. Rivera with 55 points. In 4th place, how did I mess that up? Hold on, let me see. I don't know. So, well, that's 4th, 5th place then. In 3rd place, we've got Mrs. Earl and Mrs. McGann. In 2nd place, Mrs. Jasinski. And in 1st place, Mrs. Halterman. So thank you for all your support. Mrs. Halterman will get you your trophy shortly. So thank you for all your hope. Or well, I say hope because she's up there twice now. But thank you for all your efforts going through there. I think maybe Mrs. Hope was in 5th place last month, and I just forgot to take her off. So maybe that's how that happened. So anyway, thank you all. And tune in on Facebook at 8 p.m. on December 18th, and we're going to do the raffle live. And that way I can get the gift card to you guys before you go away on break. So, volunteer opportunities. We've got our Santa's Workshop events. We're still looking for some volunteers to help out with concessions. We'll need all the help we can get at the holiday shop, which I know we'll be talking about here shortly. There's a need for somebody to help out with Santa and just making sure kids are moving through Santa. Someone's not taking all Santa's time on that one. So you can sign up online on our volunteer section for that. There's a link for that event, and you can go ahead and sign up. We also are looking for the 4th grade music concert. Obviously, I did a really good job proofreading this month's slide deck. But the 4th grade music concert that we talked about, we definitely need some volunteers if we're going to be doing that, and that's next Thursday. 5th grade math helper, this is something we had last month, and this is an ongoing one. They're currently still looking for helpers to come in. Mrs. Turner actually just reached out to me the other day and said that when they have had people come in, it's been fantastic, and it's really been helping the kids. So if they can continue to still get volunteers for that, that's a great thing. I think it's something like 45 minutes almost every day. I think they're looking for somebody that comes in and works with them. So that's out there as well. We also have, thinking way in advance, we've got our Culver's event in March, and this one is something that I really encourage staff to do a little bit more, because that's one of the big things that makes the kids so excited to go to the Culver's event, is seeing their staff and teachers there. So if you can sign up for that, that would be great. And now we're going to go into the deep dive topics. All right, Petty Strong. So last month at our meeting, after our meeting, we sat down and talked about this offline, and we moved on it because it was something that seemed that the board really agreed was an important thing to do, and was not something we wanted to wait an entire month to launch, so we went ahead and launched it. The Petty Strong is a new fund created to help staff facing extreme hardships. You've probably seen us out there talking about this, maybe you've seen the flyer or some of the emails. We launched this on World Giving, no, not Giving Day, World Kindness Day.
Yeah.
Yes, back in November, right before the book fair. And basically what we're doing is we're selling t-shirts and the little rubber wrist bracelets, which I'm not wearing mine today. But anyways, the shirts are $10 each, the bracelets are $3 each, and the idea is that any of the proceeds from the purchases of those then are gonna go to a fund which we can use to help staff members that are facing these extreme hardships with it, and that's something we'll work with administration and doing that. We've hosted one Spirit Day. We're going to continue to do Spirit Days for these as well, just to kind of show that Petty Strong mentality out there. I think it was pretty popular. So I encourage you to get your shirts and bracelets. You can do that online, or even just send in an envelope to the school saying this is what it is. We've got some limited sizes right now, and shirts available still. If your size is sold out or whatever, we will place another order at some point in time once we have enough orders to kind of justify having a new order. But we'll make sure we do it in time before we have another Spirit Day. I have in here sold, and I never went back and put the number of shirts in there, but if I remember correctly, I think we've sold, out of our initial order of about 200 shirts, I think we've sold
115, I think.
I think it might be closer to like, out of 200 shirts, I think we've sold 125 of them. So we're
Okay.
dwindling way down. We're under half of what we had. And with the bracelets, I think we're right about half.
Half, yeah.
So out of the 200 we had there, I think we've sold about 100 of those. So we talked about the total funds available to date, and that was way back in there. If you look at, I believe it's like $400 is, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. So anyways, it's about $400 when you subtract the cost of what we put into it versus what we've made so far. Now, at the point that we've made back what we put into it, everything's pure profit at this point in time. So, however, to get this going faster and knowing that there was immediate need for some staff members at the time that we kicked this off, I also talked to the board and wanted us to consider making a $500 donation to the fund to get it going faster. So we had more funds available to help out now, instead of saying, well, let's wait till we sell all of our shirts or whatever it is and have enough funds to do that. So this is something I floated out and said we would bring it up at this meeting. So anybody have any questions about doing that? This would be a one-time donation to the fund to have available. So, any questions, thoughts, or concerns?
You can put my $500 from Baxter to it. So there you go.
There we go. That was $500.
That's my
we're
vote.
counting on. So, and that easily can be done. That justifies the cost of that. So, any questions, thoughts, concerns, other than that?
So,
All right.
I was just wondering, like, who manages the fund? How does it get distributed to the?
How does it, okay, so the idea is, as we get these funds coming in, then what'll happen is the executive board or the boosters will say, hey, we have this amount of money. What are your needs? And the administration will come to us. If, say, there's somebody that comes down the road and we have money left in these funds, we'd like to do this. So they're gonna come to us because there is some, health concerns, sharing of information and things like that. Some people don't wanna be known and whatever. So we'll kind of keep it close to the vest and work it out, work out what's going on there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thought of how those funds would be distributed. So that's how we saw it coming, but we haven't really done it yet. So it'll be a little bit of a learning process, but that's kind of how we're looking into it. So, all right, we'll just put this to a vote then. Anyone all in favor of adding $500 to the fund at this point in time? Anyone opposed? All right, done. So that's the Petty Strong thing, big thing. If you haven't gotten one, get a shirt or a bracelet. They're pretty nice things. I think this is something that's going to live on.
Yeah, it's
Now and this
Yeah,
year, next year, and
right.
whenever it is, it's something that we can have moving on. So,
I think a lot of people had asked if it was just like a one-time thing, but this is going to be ongoing.
Right.
So,
right.
And they will be sold at Santa's Workshop.
yes.
Yeah, we'll have what we have at Santa's Workshop. But like I said, if for some reason we're out of your size, don't worry. We will get more of them in. We'll get them out as soon as possible. So, all right. So we've also got the Petty Cash Raffle. And this is something that's going on in conjunction with Santa's Workshop. But what we did is we created a raffle, kind of similar to what the District 34 Foundation does with their duck race. But the idea is we're going to have a cash raffle that the grand prize winner is going to receive $500 cash. So somebody on Friday or on Sunday is going to walk away with $500 cash. Somebody else is going to walk away with a Nintendo Switch Lite.
Or cash equivalent.
Or cash equivalent. So if for some reason you win a Nintendo Switch Lite and you don't want it, we will get you $200. Now I won't have the $200 on the spot for the second prize, but we'll get you a check for that in the next couple of days. So, but the idea was to have something that parents might be really excited about, maybe something kids might be a little excited about here. So tickets for this event are or for the raffle are $5 each, or $5 for $20. We have them available. There's actually only 1,000 tickets total sold, so the odds are really, really good.
No, we haven't sold 1,000.
No, I'm sorry. There's 1,000 tickets available to be sold, and so your odds are very good. We have not sold that many, so your odds are even better at this point in time. But we'd like to raise a little bit more. You can get those online. You can also put them in an envelope, and we'll also be selling them at the event as long as we still have the tickets. But if you're trying to order them online or you want to put it in an envelope, you've got to make sure that it's here before probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can turn them around and get them back
On Friday.
to you on Friday. But we'll get that going there. So. But if for some reason you need to reach out, you can also reach out to us on Facebook or whatever, and we'll work with you to make sure you get your tickets. So that's going on out there.
We can always just take a picture of them and send them.
And email it to you too,
Yeah.
your numbers. Yeah. So Santa's Workshop. All right. So this is our big event coming up on Sunday. We've got a lot of stuff going on. The event is from 1 to 3 p.m. The admission is free. It's free to anybody to come in. Activities that we have that are free. We've got caroling and music performances going on. Well, I don't know if it's really caroling, but we've got some singers and we've got some orchestra students playing that day. So we'll have that going on through the event. We've got crafts for people to do. I'm kind of skipping around. We've got photos with Santa, so we're going to have Santa at the event. We're not going to have a photographer taking pictures, so it is BYOC, bring your own camera. So go ahead and do that, but we'll have a nice little backdrop set up, and Santa will be there and handing out candy to everybody that comes and visits him. We'll have the Petty Cash Raffle as well. The drawing for that's going to be at 2:45 at the event, so we'll have that out there. We also have we'll have concessions. We'll have hot cocoa and snacks available for purchase there. And we also have our holiday shop, and I'm going to let Christina talk to us a little bit about the holiday shop.
So, holiday shop is for the kids. Kids will come and get to shop for family members, friends, themselves. Prices are going to range from 25 cents to the highest one was $13.25, but that was only one thing. Most are under $5. All items can be gift wrapped if they choose. We will have people there gift wrapping just to make sure that people know this event for the holiday shop is only cash or check. We cannot accept credit cards. So just please keep that in mind when you are bringing your child to the event. Parents aren't going to necessarily need to go in if they choose not to. A lot of times the kids like to go and do it not by themselves, but with a helper, which we will have helpers there. that will make sure that the kids stay in their budget. Everybody should have gotten the envelopes that we went home on Monday with the holiday shop flyer. It's a good way to track your budget and keep your, make sure your child and the helper know how much they're supposed to be spending on who. I will have extra envelopes at the event, so if you lost yours or you forget yours, you can write one up real quick when you get to the event. But I think that's it.
Okay. One thing to note
Yeah,
on there,
I was gonna
I
say.
know that the envelope that's pre-printed from the holiday shop people says make checks payable to your school. Actually, make it payable to Petty Boosters.
Yes.
Because we'll be taking all the funds in on that. Same goes for anything else that you have out there. So, you know, if you're like, well, boy, I want to go, but I don't want to write a check out for every single thing. If you want, come to one of our areas, write a check out for the amount that you want. We'll give you cash. And then you can take it to the different areas if you want to take it to the snack bar and whatever. So you don't have to write out a check at each different area if you're at the event. But we have that going on out there as well. The holiday shop will be set up in the gym. Just outside of the gym, we've got we'll have the raffle table. We also have a Snow Buddies benefit, which is a program at Petty already. You guys probably have already seen that, where people can sign up to help provide gifts for families in need. At the event, you can drop off the presents that you maybe bought for someone that you're sponsoring. You can drop off those wrapped presents for that. Also, we'll have a little cash collection box out there that they can use to supplement for gift cards for the families, or you know, maybe if there's another student that didn't get quite as much as somebody else, they can use that to supplement. Also, new unwrapped toys for boys and girls can be donated there as well, and those are other additional things that they can give, you know, because sometimes what happens is one family says, well, here's something for someone, and maybe they kind of went over their limit a little bit, whether they can kind of take and distribute an extra toy or something like that to kind of even things out a little bit. So we'll have that out there as well, a table to accept those donations. In the gym, we'll have our caroling and music, we'll have our concessions, the crafts, Santa. So it's gonna be a great event. One other thing about the holiday shop is I believe there's going to be previews for students on Friday, correct?
Oh, yeah, yes. good,
So
thank
students
you.
will be
Yep.
going through and being able to see the different items, and we'll be sending also home a little half sheet flyer about the whole event on Sunday with the students as well. So that's pretty much the event. Any questions? Again, volunteers, if you don't have to step up and run an area, but if we're still looking for some volunteers to help us fill in a few gaps. So anybody that can volunteer is greatly appreciated on that day. So that's Santa's workshop. Any questions? All right, we're gonna move on. Book fair. So we did the book fair. Yes, we did. So it was November 18th through 22nd. Basically, we raised over $2,400 in books for Petty. Some of that were books that were taken out of the fair before we shipped it back. They took, our librarian took almost $350 worth of books before we sent it back. And then we have Tidal Wave credits, which is a way for, it's almost kind of like an Amazon type store where they can go and order books for it. But we have Tidal Wave credits of over $2,000 ready for the school to use. So I'll be setting up an account for that with all the credits in there. And then I'll work with Joanna and the school to figure out how they want to do it, whether it's all of it goes to the library, or maybe there's some teachers that have needs for their classroom libraries. They can go in and leverage some of that as well. I know there's been talks about both. Now that this is a K-5 school, I think they need more books in the library for the younger kids, but there's also needs in some of the classrooms. So we'll figure out how that breakdown goes out. But thank you to all our volunteers who made that happen, because that was just nuts, all the hours and everything else there. But it was pretty cool. Antioch Traveling Closet had a great component to it, where they purchased a lot of books for kids who could not afford to purchase books for it. So we worked with them to work that out. So thank you to Antioch Traveling Closet for supporting a lot of the students here, not only here, but I also believe there were ones from Augs that came over that they purchased books for as well. So dropship books should be coming home soon. I actually have a bunch of them right now. I think there's something like 8 or 9 books still that we're waiting for. I got confirmation this morning that 3 out of those 8 or 9 additional books were shipped out yesterday, so I should be receiving them by the end of the week. But there still are probably about 4 or 5 books that are on back order still. So I'll be reaching out to those people the best I can, because some of them were student purchases, so I don't necessarily have their parents' contact information. So I'll be doing it, but be patient. I'm working on getting everybody their books. We'll get them out to you as soon as possible. And I'm working to find out ETA on those back order books as well. So, that being said, one of the questions that has come up is, when are you going to do another book fair? And we talked about this for spring and for with the author visit, and obviously Follett wants to do it. Scholastic is now, oh, you did your Scholastic one, so do you want to do one with us? It's tough to say. There were a lot of challenges with this one. Being that our librarian is rather new, I kind of stepped up in the earlier months before they had a librarian to do this, and really basically the bulk of this book fair fell on us. So the coordination with the school was not very good. We had to make schedules up for when classes were going to come and visit without knowing what classroom schedules were. We had problems getting volunteers. I know a couple of us in this room that were here for 6 or 7 hours at a time for it. There was issues with Follett where restocks never came, so that's something where, hey, we're down to our last copy, send us stuff. And we had said it, I think we got 1 restock order that was put in on Tuesday morning, finally came on Friday. And some of the other ones never came. Some of that, they're saying, from talking with Amy Bendel, who is the district librarian, she said that at Augs they had a problem with that, and I think it's because they use FedEx instead of UPS, where FedEx maybe comes later at night or is inconsistent about what time of the day they come, compared to UPS, who's always here before 10 a.m., I guess. I don't know, that's what I'm hearing. We had a lot of people ask about an online component, and there was none. So, hey, can I just purchase the books online and whatever. The other thing that we had with the staff wish lists, and this is maybe a lesson learned, that we need to get out ahead of this a little bit more than a week in advance, but with the staff wish lists, we had the little setup for it, but a lot of those didn't get filled until after the first conference night. So one of the busiest nights when we had a lot of parents coming through, there were almost no books for people to take for the wish lists and go from there. So there's a couple different things that we could do better. Personally, as being one of the people on this, if we can't work to solve the coordination with the school and volunteering, I would not do a spring book fair. It's too much work. It was absolutely nuts. And yes, I know we're getting a lot of books, but it's going there. I think as my suggestion for the boosters would be, if we're going to help with this, we're going to help. We're not going to run the book fair, which is kind of how we were brought into this last year with Nancy Bernard, is what we're gonna help do this.
Well, especially if nothing's coming back to us.
Right.
It's all going to the school.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we can help get volunteers, help, do
Mm-hmm.
with that aspect, but I feel like the main gist of it should come from the school, if the school.
How is it normally run at the other schools? Like, is it the school
Yes,
volunteers? who
like
do
at
that?
Oz, it's
Right.
all school.
Yeah.
At Hillcrest, the boosters run it. This is their first year doing it.
Right, they did Scholastic.
Yeah. Oakland, I'm not sure how they did it, how they did it. So that's my opinion, being one of the ones that was here for hours on end,
Yeah.
multiple days. So,
So maybe we could talk to Joanna about a proposal for us to assist with the book fair, and maybe work with the librarian on how she can get volunteers through the school
Mm-hmm.
to run it, and we'll help, but we're not gonna run the program, we'll
Yeah.
assist it. I love the book fair, and the kids love it too, so I don't
Mhm.
wanna, but maybe the new librarian can kinda take that role too.
Yeah,
So my daughter started out at a much smaller Catholic school,
Mm-hmm.
and I did the book fair there. but we didn't have it open all day. We only did it like key events, like for us it was Catholic Schools Week, so like during the hours of the parent-teacher conferences, like lunchtime, because during that week they had parents come in, and like a little bit after school, so it wouldn't, so then I think that helps with the volunteer problem if you don't have it open for so many hours, because that becomes impossible. And what the teachers did was they would bring the kids down to look through, but it didn't mean somebody was there that they could purchase, but they could make their wish
Yeah, we
list.
did that.
We did two. We had 2 times
Yeah.
that students could come down. There was one time that they came down that was preview time, and there was not
There was
necessarily
nobody.
someone here to
No.
check them out. And then there was a second time that they could come later in the week to make their purchases. And so that's when we had that. But I mean, honestly, it wasn't just the challenges in getting volunteers just for the times during the school day. It was even at the night.
Oh, it was
just-
mostly the night,
Yeah.
I would say, because parents were excited to go like when their kids' class was going to be there or something. So yes, there were gaps in the daytime, but with that one night we had the staff dinner, so Wednesday there was like nobody.
Yeah, it was you.
It was Ray, it was Lisa Fisher.
Christina was here for a while.
Yeah, Christina.
Yeah, well, I was doing.
We were doing
Conference.
double
You guys were
duty.
doing double duty.
Yeah. So
So, I mean, that's part of it. I don't know, but without those first 2 things, and I kind of put them in order of the challenges as they need to be addressed. You know, I think we have a hard look to look at before we consider, we as the booster say, we will get involved with another book fair. That's my take on it. Especially considering we put in everything, like Christina said, we put in everything. We put in the cash and everything else for this event. And, you know, I mean that's not why, you know, but it's just, it's a big ordeal for
It's a
just
big event.
just for
It's
like
huge.
3 or 4
Not get
people
something in return.
to do, you know,
Selfish
so.
as that sounds.
All right, so that's the book fair. We'll talk about this more, I'm sure, but I will bring this back to administration and we'll see what happens with that. So that's it. That's our meeting. Was there anything else?
oh, that was kind of a sad note.
I know. Well, hey, somebody is gonna walk out with $500 though. That's a good note, right?
Yeah, come to Santa's workshop. Come on.
Yeah.
Santa's shop.
So yeah, it's gonna be great. And yeah, our next meeting actually is not the first Wednesday of the month next month because there's no school that day.
Yeah.
So we've moved it to the second Wednesday in January that month at 6 to 7 p.m. So that's our first one of 2020. We're getting down there. There's only a few more left for the year. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, please let us know. Or early. When have we ever been early before?
I don't know.
I guess when we ended on a downer like
I
that,
guess
right?
so. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for coming.